What up, what up, what up, what up? No Cap Conversations, yo. This is my first No Cap Conversation here on YouTube. But if you've been rocking with me for a little while, first and foremost, I want to thank every person who's helped me get to 1,000 subscribers. Because this is one of the things that I was gunning for, is making sure that I was able to go live with you guys, and we'll see some developments and things get better as you walk into the dressing room. But this is No Cap Conversation because, as you can see, I have no cap on, and I wanted to make sure that we had these vital and these transparent and these honest conversations. First and foremost, I'm not claiming to be the end all be all or to know it all or any of those different types of things. My goal is to start initiating conversations that will incite you to see yourself differently, for you to look at yourself in a very different light, to elevate how you're positioning and what you're thinking of in that space, so that you can maneuver more powerfully as a individual. So definitely feel free to leave comments down at the bottom. I'm still acclimating myself to YouTube Live versus Instagram Live or Facebook Live. So I know that those things maneuver a little bit differently. But today we're going to be talking about this question. And this is the question of the day as well, so you can answer it as well. Do you know your rights? Not do you know your rights, like your voting rights or any of those different types of things in this election time. Do people actually know what they are looking for, right? No pun intended on the right. But the reason the conversation needed to be had was because I woke up this morning and I started thinking, like, so many people have been talking about this candidate or that candidate. They've been talking over the course of the last 4 or 5 months about policies and what works best, and what the nation needs to be doing, and all these different types of things. And my question started to become, how do you know you're right? How do you know that you are, in fact, building or developing something that's going to be beneficial and righteous and right, for not only yourself but your family, your community, et cetera, et cetera. And the same thing I've noticed when it shows up in styles. You have this kind of herd mentality where people are saying, I know I'm right, and then you say, okay, cool. Why are you right? Like, can you give me some basics? Can you give me some foundation for why you feel like you're right? And they have no backing for their basis. They don't even know that they're right. When it came to the election, I was just asking people, to tell me about policy, because I don't claim to be a person who is well versed in politics. After the 2012 election, which was the first time that I had ever voted, I was kind of unaware of how politics worked. I went through high school, but I didn't pay attention in my government class. So I wasn't claiming to know how all of these different types of things work. I didn't know who my Secretary of State was. I didn't know who my senator was. I didn't know who my House of Representatives were. I didn't know any of those different types of things. I didn't know how local politics worked with my city comptroller, with my city council members, with my alderman, with me being here in the Atlanta area. So I didn't know how any of those different types of things work. And the same thing I'm starting to realize is true when it comes to a lot of individuals. So I've asked them, if you're voting for Trump or Biden, can you tell me 10 of their policies, or 3 of their policies that speak to economics, that speak to our rights, our civil liberties, and that we're speaking to when it comes to family or structural elements. And very few people could actually give me insight on that. Very few people could actually give me insight on or teach me something in that space. So when I would talk to them, asking them questions, genuinely trying to gain understanding with what they were trying to convey, it always was, well, you just need to get out and vote. And I'm like, yeah, but why are you voting? Like, what's the purpose of you voting? And I got the same kickback, like, our ancestors died for the right for you to vote. And I'm like, that's not what my ancestors died. I know why my ancestors died. They died of old age, but like they didn't just die for me to vote. They died for me to have a better life, for me to elevate. When we start talking about the political process, and I asked them questions, they did not have any answer. So when I asked them, do you really know that you are right? Do you really know the rights of me as a individual, or us as a collective, as citizens? When I asked them about different elements of the government, can you name the 3 branches of the government? I'm sure you guys can, but I'll ask them, like, if you guys put it in the comments, like the 3 branches of government, now here's the kicker. What do they do? Then they start saying, well, they do this, I think. And it's like, okay, so before you're telling me that something is right or wrong, because that's the first place we have to start is consciously, then you need to have the information and the knowledge behind what you're doing and why you're doing it. And a lot of people just do not have that knowledge base. They are just speaking rhetoric or rhetorical things that they've heard from people around them. And I understand why that happens, but it's still dangerous because you don't even know what it is that you have knowledge from, or even what you believe. And the same thing is often true when it comes to personal style. I have so many guys who will come in to our shop, or who will be working with me, and they'll say that this is right, or this is how something's supposed to be. And that may actually have some validity. It may actually be true, but not for them personally. So they'll tell me, hey, you can't wear double-breasted. I'm a short guy. You can't wear double-breasted. And I'm like, well, who told you that? Well, I've read some of the books and it said that. And then we start going back and we do some inquiry. And I'm like, are you sure you're right? Do you know if you're right there? Because as a shorter guy, you wearing a double-breasted suit, depending on how it's cut and the silhouette and the fit and the balance and all those things, could actually be extremely beneficial to you. And they're like, well, no, like that can't happen. You're right? When I talk to them about colors, because I've heard several guys, on blogs say that, paying attention to your colors and figuring out which colors actually work for you is a moot point. Just wear what feels good. And I'm like, no. That actually psychologically is incorrect. It's factually incorrect that colors don't mean anything and that you should just be able to wear whatever you want to wear. That second part is true. You can wear whatever you want to wear, but what are you seeking to maximize? See, here at the dressing room, I want to make sure that we address who you are, your attitudes, your aspirations, and your alignment, so that your identity, your integrity, and your impressions are all in alignment, so that if you change these eyes, then you can change these eyes in the eyes of others around you. So if you're just saying, well, I can just do whatever and I can and can express whatever with no consequence, then you've done yourself a grave disservice and a grave injustice to yourself and those people around you. Because what people often say is, I want my rights, I want to be free, I want freedom, but they don't realize that freedom comes with responsibility, a lot of responsibility. If you want to be free, then now you are responsible for everything and every act individually that is imposed upon you in that space. So if you say, I want to be free to wear whatever I wear, whatever I want to wear, whenever I want to wear it, however I want to wear it, and you go to a restaurant and the restaurant says jackets required, and they're talking about sports jackets, and you come in with a leather jacket, hoodie, and some jeans, and you sagging, and you have a great pair of sneakers on, but you're walking into that establishment, and then you're saying, well, you're being discriminated against, or you're not treating me fairly because I should be able to do whatever I want to do. I agree, 100%. You do have to understand that there are responsibilities that are going to come with that. There are outcomes and consequences that are going to come into that space as well. So you have to understand, when you're moving through different types of spaces, it's not just about you saying, I just want to do whatever. I know my rights. And when I ask you what are your rights and you can't give me that information, then I don't know if you're right. Or if you're talking to me about style and you say, I know my style rights. I know how to put my style right. I know how to make sure that these things are in alignment. And then when I ask you about yourself, I ask you about what works for you, and you cannot give me something that is clear and direct. It is very, very obstructed, and it's very obtuse and unclear and convoluted. Well, then now I'm just kind of looking at you crazy like, bro, do you really know what you're talking about? And so we need to be very careful about the people that we are listening to, and wondering if the people that we are listening to are just trying to impose whatever their perspective is onto us, or they are actually helping us figure out what is right for us. Because people who are trying to figure out what's right for us should start asking us the questions, myself included. We want to always make sure that we're asking ourselves, we're asking the people that we care about the questions. Not just, does this look good, but does it fit me? Does it fit my personality, how I move, how I interact, and the type of spaces that I'm gonna need to be? Because if it doesn't fit me, even though it may look good, it may be something that I need to remove myself from. And the same thing is gonna be true when it comes to knowing your rights, but also knowing if this is right for you. Because there's a lot of people, when we start having these deeper conversations, that start realizing or acknowledging that what they may have thought or believed actually may be incorrect, and they're not in alignment with who they want to be or what they want to represent, and so therefore they have made themselves incorrect. But that doesn't mean that they can't get right and make sure that what is sitting or fitting for them is right as well. So I want you to try that on, see how it fits you. I know that a lot of my Instagram followers did not come over here, partly because I am early today. We'll be going at 5:30 or 6 for lives. I'm still trying to get schedules and everything in order for here on the YouTube channel. But rest assured, we're going to get this in play, and it's going to be a beautiful situation and a beautiful thing. And by all means, if you ever have any questions, any style questions, or any lifestyle questions, please don't hesitate to answer me. We will be doing more videos on getting things in order now so that we can do that. And outside of that, be great today. And don't ever forget that dress is nothing more than the expression of a man's state of mind. So you, yes, you should always dress to express with no cap. I will see you tomorrow. Peace.